Hi everyone. Today is December 11th, and just talking a little bit about the day. Earlier in the week, I want to say on, I guess, Monday, well, basically a week ago, I had a writing class with a student, and I was noticing um, some difficulty with kind of the writing section, the essay writing process, and kind of brainstorming, and I wanted to give some advice about kind of my approach to kind of dissecting the prompts and trying to kind of develop an approach that was not just based on a template, but trying to get a little bit further down into developing an argument and finding kind of how to get something of an anecdote and kind of a story, a character that could illustrate the point that somebody wants to make in the body paragraphs, since I usually tend to see a dependence on the just kind of a fill in the blank template, and sometimes those paragraphs end up being just kind of really weak. So I wanted to kind of go through that process and see how to get further down into like a core idea that could be developed. So I had mentioned to students that I wanted to go about doing that, and then on the weekend I got a chance to, start going through those ideas a little bit further in detail, kind of separating them out into individual slides, and then supplementing them and making sure that the ideas weren't just too kind of broad or generic, but had examples to like illustrate what I was trying to say about illustrating, and kind of taking it a little step by step. I know the way I broke it down and kind of explained it is more than the like 2-3 minutes of that somebody would probably take for the 30-minute process of the writing. But I think analyzing the question, understanding what the question is like really about, and also defining some of the key concepts that might not be obvious at first glance, can help students kind of start developing a better formulated essay. And I have seen some students kind of take this advice in different formats and then try to apply it, instead of just only looking for like a template. So I was really happy to see some positive feedback about that process, and seeing how it was helping some students kind of see the writing process from a different perspective. And these are things that I apply, I would say, in my own writing when I've taken the test and wanted to get like really deep into a topic and make a solid argument, and not just something that was kind of weak, that kind of filled up the paragraph, filled in the word count, but was kind of lacking substance. So it and from a creator standpoint, as a teacher creator, being able to do something like this, to recognize that I trust that this advice is helpful, and this is something that I share in the lessons with students, and to not just share it with like one student or another student here or there during the lessons, to students who are kind of receptive to the advice and willing to improve their writing, and not just look for a little hack or a gimmick. I wanted to kind of repackage this and kind of turn that process into something that people can use and follow. And I recognize that kind of by not sharing some of this publicly, I might be doing a disservice if there's a lot of content out there that's kind of perhaps a bit shallow, and giving some students some false hopes about just doing some tricks and hacks and not really actually working on the writing process, the skill, the craft, which requires some practice. So that's also something there. And then, as I said, as a creator, as a teacher, taking in a way a risk of putting my name on something and kind of putting a message kind of out there. It feels like it's taking a risk, and at least for me, to realize that like, I have an opinion. I've seen lots and lots of student essays, hundreds of them, hundreds if not thousands, and always being asked like, well, it's one thing to critique an essay and to give some feedback on the grammar, the vocabulary, the sentence structure, and then to get really further into like, well, what actually would make a good paragraph, a good solid paragraph, in my opinion. It gets a little harder to kind of just clearly state what it is that I sense and that I would encourage students to look for. And also in terms of wanting to create material, I've recognized that for a long time, a really long time, even before being a teacher as a teenager, and since then, I've struggled, I would say, with executive function. I thought at some point it was like I'm distracted, or I tend to procrastinate. But sometimes it's not about having one idea and then saying, oh, I've got this idea, and then doing nothing with it, or just letting it sit in my head and not really kind of be turned into something physical or tangible. For a long time, I feel like I've either been a perfectionist or kind of keep thinking because I want to get it right, but time goes on and then that idea, just nothing happens with it. And so the idea itself is kind of useless if I don't share the ideas, if I don't get the idea out there in some format, if it's just stuck in my head or it only comes out when I'm trying to give some advice to some students during the lesson. There's only so many hours in the day that I'm actually teaching, but recording something like this or turning it into a piece of content like a blog post or some kind of image that's designed and there, even though I recognize that sometimes a blog post or something on Instagram, people can just really scroll past that without really reading it. They might hit the like button without actually reading the whole description or going through if there's a gallery of images. But taking the time to formulate some slides and I've given some presentations recently at conferences and try to go through that process of like, what messages do I want to get out there. Sometimes this has involved getting several things on like post-it notes and then trying to get those post-it notes in order, which is a way of kind of the slides and yeah, more recently noticing how I really do enjoy the writing process and trying to get the ideas as clearly stated as I can, to make sure that the most important message is getting transmitted. And it is a muscle, it is a skill that needs to be practiced. So if I do a lot of this kind of speaking on a recording and recognizing that I might make mistakes, I might say something, and a long time ago, maybe I would have been embarrassed by those mistakes, but I just realized like when speaking, the spoken word is not perfect, and it's just like we're trying to get from the idea out of the mouth as quickly as we can. And when we have a chance to write something or produce something, we have a little bit more of a chance to kind of improve that process. So I do want to create more and take more of those risks and not doubt myself or carry through on this process of like executive function. And I do want to help students and just carry through on like get these ideas and know that, well, this has been helping students. I am familiar with the test. I am familiar with the exam. I have seen strategies that work. I've seen strategies that are less effective, and I'd like to help students kind of navigate the exam and see what are some effective strategies at different levels, like the 80-90, 90 to 100, above 100, and not just kind of, I have these ideas, and if they just stay in my head, it's not really helping as much as I can. So this process of going through, making the slides, and then taking a break, coming back, looking at them, taking another break, looking at them, and then finally kind of recording them and giving it a couple lookovers and see, okay, what else could I add, and then finally kind of just committing and saying, I think that's a good set of at least 10 ideas that I think would be helpful, and they don't have to be all 10 steps, but they could give somebody a good foundation on what to look for as they're thinking through their ideas and trying to assess if that's going to be a strong argument that they're developing, or if it's going to be a little weaker, and how they can improve upon it, and what things are essential to keep in the paragraph and what they can get rid of. So yeah, I'm pleased with some of the feedback that I received on that, and this motivates me to keep going. Hola a todos, hoy es el día 11 en diciembre y estoy hablando un poco de que hoy y anoche estaba trabajando en un video, o más bien una presentación que grabé como video para comentar diapositivas para el proceso para escribir un ensayo. Y yo creo que hay mucho contenido que habla de como una estructura donde los estudiantes quieren como llenar como un formato, y a veces yo veo ensayos que son no bien desarrollados, Y luego para dar consejos, a veces es difícil poner claramente en palabras como qué es mi proceso para pensar y formular una idea y por eso yo quería hacer esta grabación. Y también últimamente he batallado un poco con esta como ejecución, como una funcionamiento ejecutivo, sí, ejecución, que tengo ideas, pero a veces con no dedicar el tiempo o agendar exactamente en qué momento voy a hacer una cosa, pues hay ideas que viven en la cabeza y también mueren en la cabeza si no los hago tangibles y algo publicado, producido para los demás. Y eso es bueno, un reto y también un propósito para mí de ser maestro y no tan solo estar dando consejos durante clases, pero me gustaría tener mucho contenido que está allí para los estudiantes en ese momento y tal vez nuevos que me pueden conocer un poquito a través del contenido. Y bueno, para poder seguir con estas grabaciones, voy a decir que eso es todo por hoy. Bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, c'est l'11 décembre. Je parle un petit peu sur hier soir, aujourd'hui. J'ai travaillé sur quelques diapositifs pour enseigner comment j'écris un essai pour l'examen de TOEFL. Et ça fait plusieurs années maintenant que je lis beaucoup d'essais, mais très souvent je vois une logique faible qui n'est pas aussi bien développée que j'aimerais voir pour un essai de haute qualité. Mais parfois, il y a des étudiants qui souhaitent juste utiliser quelques outils vite fait, mais malheureusement, ça va pas obtenir un très bon résultat. Donc, je suis un peu frustré des fois quand je devrais dire que c'est pas ça, c'est pas, ça marche pas tout à fait. Il y a des faiblesses, il y a des petits problèmes qu'on devrait travailler et je crois que je devrais publier un peu plus de contenu pour aider mes stagiaires. Mais parfois, j'ai de la difficulté avec le fonctionnement exécutif pour dire que oui, j'ai une bonne idée, j'ai une très bonne idée, mais si j'arrive pas à juste compléter et publier et dédier un petit peu de temps sans me laisser distraire ou sans regarder les notifications et penser il y a quelque chose qui vient d'arriver, il faut juste que je dis ok, là je suis occupé, je travaille sur un truc, je le termine, je publie et après je pourrais commencer à regarder quelque chose, mais en attendant il y a pas mal de temps que je bataille un petit peu avec ça. Donc, faire une vidéo, ça m'aide pour un peu plus de motivation pour moi-même. Oui, je peux créer du contenu, je peux le partager, je peux promouvoir, je peux l'envoyer à certains stagiaires et voir leur réaction et avoir une idée de, OK, qu'est-ce que je peux faire maintenant pour aider aussi et pour compléter un peu le panorama de ce que les stagiaires ont besoin pour étudier. Ça, c'est tout. Hallo an alle, heute ist der 11. Tag in Dezember und ich spreche ein bisschen über ein Video, das ich habe heute gemacht für die Prüfung TOEFL und es ist für Schreiben und wenn habe ich Englischstunde für die Prüfung. Ich kann Rat geben und ich habe viele Ideen, aber ich habe nicht so viel Videos gemacht und es ist frustrierend, vielleicht. Und ich denke, dass vielleicht bin ich müde oder es ist spät und ich möchte ins Bett gehen oder ich weiß es nicht. Aber ich habe viele Ideen, aber mit die Zeit, ich bin nicht immer sehr gut für organisieren, die Zeit für etwas zu tun und ich möchte machen mehr und ich muss etwas machen und dieses Video war für wie kann man besser schreiben und ja, das ist alle für heute. Ciao a tutti, oggi è il giorno 11 in dicembre. Parlo un po' di un video che oggi ho fatto per come scrivere meglio nell'esame TOEFL e nella settimana ho fatto una lezione di inglese e abbiamo parlato di come migliorare un ensayo e ho explicato come io penso, come io scrivo e oggi su Botta e oggi ho voluto fare un video per dare questi consigli a più di studenti. Per questo ho fatto questo e anche come professore voglio fare più di video per compartire questa informazione e mi piace che ho potuto fare questo oggi. Всем привет, сегодня 11 день И я говорю немного о том, что я ссылал видео для студентов, чтобы готовиться к экзамен на TOEFL и, например, как написать лучше. И несколько дней назад у меня было занятие, и мы поговорили о эссе, о идее и как организовать идею. И я объяснил, как я думаю и как я пишу, и поэтому я хотел делать этот видео, и больше студенты могут смотреть видео, и надеюсь, что это помогает, будет помогать. И так, это все на сегодня. Большое спасибо. Пока.